Welcome to this week's Kids Online. We're going to carry on finding out about the prophet Isaiah and the promises that he was given by God to prophesy. And if you remember last week, we looked at the amazing, glorious vision he had of God at the beginning of his ministry. So let's get our hearts worshipping God at the start of this session. We're going to watch a song called God Be Glorified by Nick and Becky Drake. So either listen to the music or think about the words or dance around the room or watch the pictures or make your own drum kit out of boxes or tubs and join in and worship and just lift your heart to God, however it works for you. See you in a minute.
Everyone's coming to praise, joining together to honor your name. Jesus is Lord, we will sing over everything. Everyone's coming to praise, showing the world it is Jesus who reigns. He is the light and the way over everything. So lift up your voice to our God, for He reigns. God be glorified.
So, you remember Isaiah, who we talked about last week. Here we are. Here's a really good picture from the Jesus Bible storybook. And remember that Isaiah's job as a prophet was to hear God's messages and speak them out to the people of Israel. The problem was that the messages Isaiah was given to speak out were really difficult, hard messages, because the people of Israel had turned their back on God. They were walking away from God. They were living in really bad and wrong and harmful ways. And God just couldn't let it go on. He needed to stop it. He needed things to be fair, peaceful, and just. So a lot of Isaiah's messages and prophecies were judgment about how Israel would be taken into captivity in Babylon. But we get to chapter 9 of Isaiah, and he's got this amazing new prophecy. And it's about a coming king who one day will bring peace and justice to the nations. I don't know why I'm holding this up because you can't see. There we go. A coming king. This king is described as a light shining in the darkness. So I had a go at reading this in the dark. Take a look. I'm trying to read Isaiah's prophecy in the dark. It's obviously not completely dark. Completely dark would look like this. But that's silly because you can't even see me. But actually, I can't see anything. Isaiah's prophecy said the people walking in the darkness saw a great light. I can see now. Do you ever try and do anything in the darkness? I know if I get up in the middle of the night to go to the loo or something, I always stumble over something or bang my leg on the bed and screech and annoy everybody. Or I know when I've been camping, sometimes at New Wine, but sometimes in the middle of the countryside, in the middle of nowhere, if you again need to go out in the night, it's completely dark and you definitely need a torch just to see where you're walking. Some of us are scared of the dark too, because you can't really see what's there. It's not very nice not being able to see what's there. Thankfully, we've got night lights and things like that. So I asked one of our Scramblers leaders, Liz and Eloise, if they would do a challenge to do something without being able to see. Let's see how they got on.
So today we've been thinking about Jesus being described by Isaiah as the light in the darkness. And just to illustrate how much we take light for granted sometimes and how important light is to us, we're going to play a game, Eloise and I, but it's going to have a slight twist in it. So we're going to play the game of noughts and crosses. So I'll draw the grid. I'm sure you're all familiar with noughts and crosses. So this is our noughts and crosses grid. So we're going to have to put 3 noughts or 3 crosses in a row, and the one that gets them all in a row is the winner. Okay, now here's the twist. So just to show how much we take light for granted sometimes and how important the light is, I'm going to blindfold Eloise. Let's see who's going to win. Okay. This is slightly unfair, but Eloise said she didn't mind. Okay, do you want to start?
Yeah.
Okay, so Eloise is going to put her first mark in the paper.
Oh, just touched it.
Okay,
Where's the paper?
that's it? Okay, there we go. Okay, so she's done a cross. Right, I'm going to do a naught. Eloise, another cross. So you've got to try and get 3 in a row in different boxes. Okay, now I'm going to do another one. Okay, Eloise, you'll go? No, your crosses. Okay, now, oh, look. I got 3 in a row, so I'm the winner. Look what Eloise put her crosses, all in the middle square. What? So, Eloise, was that easier or harder? Harder if you couldn't see.
Thank you, Liz and Eloise. So I'm going to carry on reading a bit more of Isaiah's prophecy. For unto us a child is born, to us a son is given, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. So Isaiah's prophecy is talking about a coming king, not just for Israel, for the whole world. And he's going to be like a light in the darkness. But notice, the prophecy talks about a child being born. And you might have recognised those words from hearing them at Christmas, because they prophesy 700 years before the birth of Jesus. They are foretelling the birth of Jesus. Let's have a quick look at Saddleback Kids.
There once was a prophet named Isaiah who lived many years before Jesus was born. A prophet is a person inspired by God through the Holy Spirit to deliver a message for a special purpose. Isaiah's message was that the Messiah would save the world. Many years later, the Messiah came and his name was Jesus. And all the things that Isaiah said about Jesus came true.
Now, you may have noticed that I'm sitting here surrounded by painting activities, and you might have been wondering whether that's just where I choose to sit today or whether I'm actually going to do some painting. And yes, I am. I thought it was time to put away the baking and get out some painting. So today we're going to make a firework painting, and I've chosen fireworks because it's on the theme of light. And also it's going to be bonfire night soon. And also it's quite fun. So you will need an inner toilet roll tube. Now, I have been collecting these and piling them up, but I came down this morning and found somebody has helpfully recycled them. Or somebody's helpfully chewed them. Don't know. But anyway, I found one left over upstairs. So, you will need some scissors. You will need maybe some kitchen roll or a cloth in case of spills. Some paint. I've actually bought some poster paint now, so I don't have to keep using my daughter's more expensive acrylics or whatever they were. A couple of paintbrushes. I'm afraid these are a bit rubbish really. They've either been chewed up or left to dry out, so they're probably more like sort of, might as well use twigs really. I've got a little cup of water in case I want to wash anything, and different types of paper. Okay, so you will need to cut into your toilet roll. Now don't cut in the middle, go a little bit further up and just squash the toilet roll without folding it so that you can just see, so you can just snip into it. And then when you've made a snip, you can cut round it. Okay, I'll show you why in a minute. It's kind of easier to show you than to explain. All right, so you should have 2 different heights of tube. Now, you are going to cut down lots of strips around each tube. Let me show you. On the longer tube, you're going to cut longer strips. So, put your scissors down one side and cut, but not to the bottom, if you see what I mean. Cut almost all of the way down, but not quite. And I'm going to do lots of long, thin strips all the way around. Can you see? It's quite hard to actually chop and show at the same time. The idea is I'm going to make long, thin star shapes on this one. Well, it probably won't be star shapes, but you know what I mean. Right, I'm going to have to do this properly now. I can't cut with one arm in the air very well. Okay, so when you've done that, you need to sort of just start folding them out. It doesn't have to be perfect. Mine certainly isn't. A little bit like a flower, but I'm going for a sort of starburst effect. I haven't cut those ones quite enough, so they're not folding out properly. I don't know what this cardboard's made out of. Okay, so there we are. You've got one of those now. That's one of your firework prints. Now, with the other one, we're going to go for short, fat and stubby. So you'll only need to do a little tiny snip, like that, not too far. And I'm going to do fat ones this time, look. So it's going to look like that. Can you see? I'm going to go all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's more or less 6 cuts, which should be, there, should be 7 tabs, I think, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so you've got your 2 completely different printing shapes now. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put some paint on the strips and then print down on the paper. So this is the fun bit. I'm going to start with red and I'm going to paint all these red strips, which is quite messy. I've just found out. I'm just going to move my Bible a bit further out of the way. Oh, there we go. I think I got butternut squash on it last week. I don't think red poster paint would really help. At least it's a well-used, well-loved Bible. There we go. Right. So, we've been thinking about Jesus being the light in the darkness. And this season, whether you're looking at fireworks or making a pumpkin lantern or making any other form of lantern, or even maybe nearer Christmas when you start getting your Christmas lights out, start to think about how Jesus is the light of the world. And actually, you know, just like when you put a light on, you can see things properly and do things properly. It's the same with Jesus. When you have Jesus in your life, it's like he switches on a light inside you and you can do life well with him. Right, I'm going to do some printing now. You ready? All right, so put it down gently, and the most important thing is that you don't smear it. I'm not sure if you can see very well there, but you're going to press it down, and then you might have to individually press down all the little spiky bits coming out, and try not to smear them. Although if you do smear them, it'll just have a different effect. Basically, whatever ends up like, that's good. Right, now gently peel it off. And we should have, let's hold it up for you, our first firework print. Okay, I'm going to paint the small one bright green. Okay, ready? I'm going to print it fairly near this one, kind of might even overlap. Press down the tabs again. Well, these ones are a bit squelchy. And then gently peel off. Yay! Okay, let's have a look. Hold it up. Yeah, a bit better. Okay. So I'm going to have to be quite clever now because I've got to reuse this. So I'm going to just rinse my red brush and go with a bit of purple now. Now I'm painting over the red, so who knows what will happen. I have had feedback from some artistic people who say that they watch me do my art things and craft and go, no, because they can see what's going to go wrong. So I hope nobody's shrieking, no. Now, what happens if you mix purple and red? Do you think it just goes reddy purple or purpley red? Let's have a look. This is getting quite soggy. I might not get as many prints out of this as I thought. Oh, I should have done more red prints while it was still red. That's why you're all going, no! Okay, let's do a big purple one here. So, oh, I've smeared it already. Oh dear, there we go. Looks like a sort of giant octopus, doesn't it? Except octopus only have 8 arms. Jellyfish? Okay. Yes! I'll show you in a minute. I'm just going to do another one. Now I've realised that it's going to go soggy. Yes! And another one up here. Right. Okay, I'll show you that. Now I'm going to do another green one before that paint dries. Squidge, 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 squidge. And then I'm going to wash my green brush and I'm going to have a go at a yellow painting. Here we go. Right, yellow. Let's have a go with that. Squelch. I don't know why I'm doing sound effects. Squelch. I'm going to do one in there. Squelch. Squelch. Okay. There we go. I think I've reached the point of no return. So sometimes you get to the point in a painting or a piece of work where if you do any more, it's just going to go horribly wrong. When I used to work with small children in a school, some of the children would do the most beautiful paintings and then you had to sort of whip them out of the way onto the drying rack before they just covered them all with one colour, because it's very hard to stop painting. Okay, there we go. There's my firework picture. Well, I think we have to finish our session today with City on a Hill, about a light shining in the darkness. So we're going to finish with the video, which I absolutely love because it shows so many people just joining in. And I will pray first. Lord, thank you so much that you promised a light in the darkness. You promised a king who will bring justice and peace into our world. Lord, thank you that you have kept your promise and that Jesus has come into our world and into our hearts. And thank you that it's through his light shining through us that you would have us change the world with you, Lord. Amen. See you next week. Bye.
I am a city on a hill. I am the light in the darkness. Jesus living in me can change the world. Jesus shine.